Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome inside episode 440 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains, and grab a drink after that one. The Sens fall 4-0 to the Anaheim Ducks, and good thing we waited to record Friday's LOSP until the end of that debacle because, well, we've got a lot to discuss. Not much positive. We'll try to find a silver lining in what was a lackluster effort in their first of back-to-back games in Southern California. So as much as we'll reminisce on the game that was, we'll take a look forward to the Los Angeles Kings, who are up next 6 p.m. Eastern start on Saturday evening. And don't look, but maybe look. The Los Angeles Kings' last win came against the Ottawa Senators. So we've got a lot to get into and more, including the return of Jake Sanderson and Victor Lodin. Are you kidding me? You gotta see his most recent highlight, the undercover Sens prospect making a big splash. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day. Today is Friday, November 26th, and Pilsy,
I mean, there's not much to say here. Like, the Sens could have thrown us a bone and scored maybe one goal here. And Ross, we recorded after the game thinking, all right, let's make sure we don't lose out on recording after a win, just in case. So let's try to increase our odds here in a Friday game. Let's wait. And I'm sure many fans of the show were like, what the hell? My drive home, I didn't have LOSP. We're sorry, guys. We thought maybe, maybe, we would have a chance to record after a win. Yeah, no, 4-0 loss to the Anaheim Ducks.
What was fun, probably the best part of my game day experience today, was doing our live show before the game. So fun. Subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss when we just decide out of the blue that we're going to jump on for 45 minutes. A great interactive discussion. We had a live chat going. We're going to continue recording LOSP. I think it's a little more together when we just go back and forth and then put it all out in a nice polished package for you. But we're going to add this to our arsenal, and we're going to put them under our playlist of live interactive shows. So subscribe to YouTube on Locked On Senators, and you'll see one of our playlists now is called Live. So you can go back, and if you miss any live streams, you can go back and follow along there. Of course, we're still free and available wherever you download your audio podcast as well. Pilsy, I guess without further ado, we should get into this game. We're trying to stay positive, but when they allow the first goal again, and this time, yes, it wasn't in the first minute like it was in Colorado, or it didn't have the same sting as in San Jose, but this one, it was just, man, it just feels like I'm watching the same game over and over again.
Yeah, it really does feel that way. And I mean, like, we're doing a Daily Sens podcast here, and it's just, well, another loss. And it's been years of this, Ross. I mean, we were lucky to start the show off during a playoff run, but after that, it's been, this is what it is, talking about the Sens. And you're down 1-0 early, and you know, usually I love Josh Norris's play, but here I didn't love the hesitation behind the net and holding the puck a little bit too long, and then ends up being a turnover, and then the Ducks get the puck out front and they get a goal and they're up 1-0 real quick here. So that's something that maybe I would love to see a little more confidence in Josh Norris's game instead of hesitating and trying to make a beauty play. Just chip it around the boards and try to get that puck out there.
And there's a bit of miscommunication between him and Lassie Thompson as well, because Shabbat was kind of the outlet man behind the net. They expected just kind of an easy shift over him and break it out. But because Lassie and Josh Norris got tied up with the same guy, well, who's out front of the net then? Nobody. So it looks bad on Shabbat too, because technically if Lassie's behind the net, Shabbat should be out front. But Shabby was just reading what any normal breakout would have done, which is find the open side of the ice, give it to your best puck-moving defenseman, and away you go. Pretty easy in theory. Now, again, Lassie Thompson did great things. He had 3 awesome defensive plays in the first half of that
Especially
first
up
period.
against Manson there, eh?
Yep.
What a play. Woo.
Amazing.
And no
the
penalty
confidence.
taken, too.
You know what he's doing that many Sens defensemen haven't been able to do is cutting off players with speed down the wing. Too many times, the defensemen just let them fly by, and even if they just stop up and then see what's going on in the zone, there's too many times where they get that easy zone entry, and Lassie's made it difficult for them to do that, but this was a clear growing pain, although Josh Norris, to me, is the guy who I'm looking at on this play, just like in Colorado, Pilsy, when he put Josh Brown in a really bad situation for that first goal. So, again, sophomore, growing pains for Josh Norris, but at least we're seeing offensive ability,
right? Yeah, like he's the best goal scorer on this team, pretty much. Maybe you could argue Drake, but that shot on the power play, and we're asking him to be a number one center in your sophomore season on a slumping team up against the top lines on every single night, right? So these mistakes, they're going to happen, and I can let them slide from Josh Norris.
Yes, and he did do his best to score. He hit the post and had a beautiful shot robbed by Anthony Stolarz. Sens getting another backup goalie. But this was a different situation. Stolarz was, I think, a minute away from earning a shutout in his last start, and he gets one here tonight. And this is just a guy who I think most people listening to this show hadn't heard of before 3 hours ago. We're recording right after this game. And when you're looking at what happened after that first goal, what was it to you next where you're like, okay, what now? Because that happened with 3.5 minutes left in the first period. Plenty of time to regroup. Now, I'm kind of leading you into this, but I'm not sure we didn't discuss this stat. Between the goal that Anaheim scored and midway through the second period, the shots were 14-2 for the Ottawa Senators. What was the score during that stretch?
2-0 Anaheim.
Wow.
And that's a great stat to pick out there, Ross, because
no, it's not. It's an awful stat.
It shows the depressing things that the Ottawa Senators have to deal with. Like, even when you think things are going good, even when you think your team is putting pressure on, and they were, like, there's no I'm classic Pillsy messing up a saying.
No margin for error?
Error is very slim. Yeah, if that's it, you know what I'm trying to say. That's what I mean. And basically, yeah, you can outshoot a team 14-2 and lose 2-0 during that stretch. That is possible. Yeah. Like, I don't know, the best, Ross, like, we gotta just laugh at ourselves here. Like, there's nothing more to do. This is not a sober episode of LOSP.
No, nor should it be.
No, like, it's
only sober things are my thoughts when it comes to this team. You know how bad this team is for my mental health?
Yeah, like, it's at a point now, like, we're doing a daily show, so we gotta talk about this, and we do talk about it all the
440 episodes.
This is starting to drip into my personal life. Like, I need to be like, yes, the Sens have lost more games than I can count, but, like, personally, I've had some victories. Like, don't let it get you down. So the rest of you Sens fans, it's November. It's a transition season. Seasonal affective disorder is a thing. Don't let the Sens tap into that too. We're gonna try to stay positive here, but sometimes you just gotta laugh. That's
what's your most positive thing from this current stretch?
Which stretch are you talking about here? Where do you want to set the goalpost, Ross?
This season.
Oh fuck! I was hoping you would do it a little shorter. This season, the most positive thing. Well, okay, I'll go to something recent. It's great to see DJ Smith willing to try to move Stützle to center position, right? Because we were told he was drafted as a left winger. We're going to keep him there. We like where he's at. We're just going to give him time here. And now they're realizing they need to try something. And they went for it, putting your, like, top young prospect really in Tim Stützle and moving him from the wing to center is really a show of faith and saying, we're ready for you to take that step. Also, it's probably more we need you to take that step. So toss him in the water and see if he can swim, kind of thing. But at least they're willing to try different things in that sense, I guess, is a positive I'll think of right now.
I just typed this in because I need to see it to believe it. I'm putting it up on YouTube. Since we started Locked On Senators, the Senators have won 52 out of 170 games.
Yeah.
52 out of 170 games. And there was a stretch of 310 days where they didn't even play a game.
Yeah,
Billy,
so
I'm
like
heartbroken, buddy.
this is the thing. We're grinding. Just like the Senators were grinding in that stretch, and we're coming up with no results from the team. Luckily, the podcast we've had results, and it's been fun here, but watching the Sens and covering the Sens.
It's like a car accident. You can't look away. It's horrific, but you can't look away.
And you know what's going to happen. Like, you're watching the car accident. Like, it's not like you like hit ice and you're all of a sudden in the ditch. You're like, that guy is swerving all over the road. He is done for. And that's what this team is.
He hasn't acquired his proper tires or proper, safety features, like going out and getting a top 4 defenseman. There's just none of that. Where's Pierre Dorion? Where's Pierre Maguire?
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on.
How much coffee has been thrown in this season? That's what I want to know. But yeah. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to say, Ross. The depressing thing is our optimistic predictions for this game were a shootout loss and a 5-3 loss. So that was our optimistic viewpoint, and they lost 4-0.
I just want to score a goal. By the way, this is the 30th
Brady
episode.
did score a goal.
That was great.
Josh Norris absolutely bowled over the goaltender, and it's like 3 seconds after the whistle, but they did score. You gotta boost off that morale.
So we're gonna get into the rest of this game. We're gonna touch on Victor Lodin, who, are you kidding me right now?
Video
Victor
game
Lodin.
status.
This was unbelievable. I'm actually gonna try to get the video for the pod. I think I can do that. I will get that by the time it's
you can try,
to discuss. I'm gonna go crazy. Maybe I'll even win, unlike the team that we cover every single day. We're also gonna get into Jake Sanderson's return to the lineup because I'm not in North Dakota, but it's a huge weekend for them against the University of Minnesota. Chaz Lucius, you heard of him. Sens passed on him. Actually, a lot of teams did after. He went 19th overall to the Winnipeg Jets, a team that might be worse than Ottawa. And I'm living in Winnipeg. They lost 6-0 tonight to Minnesota Wild. But before we get to that, I want to be as
I don't know about worse than Ottawa, Ross. Sorry. Go on.
I want to end this little first segment off with a bit of a positive. We were hard on Matt Murray yesterday. Anton Forsberg was not the problem tonight. He made some unbelievable saves. This would have been at least 6-0. And I don't know if that's as much positive as it is negative. The team gave up so many grade A chances.
No, we're going to go with positive. Glass half full here.
Anton Forsberg was good tonight. And DJ Smith announced after the game that Gus starts in Los Angeles.
Love it.
The return to the crime. First time back at Staples Center since the game that ended the National Hockey League for COVID.
True. Now I want to talk about, here it is. It was early on in the game. I'm looking at my game notes here, and you're talking about Forsberg and how he kept this team. Well, kept this team in. It definitely is not appropriate, but he wasn't the problem. And there was a situation. Holden was in the neutral zone. He had the puck and he decided to throw it up the middle of the ice. This is early on in the game. The Ducks pounced on it. It was a turnover, 2-on-1 the other way. And my immediate thought was, but as it is happening, if this is Matt Murray, I'm expecting them to score here. And it was Forsberg 2-on-1, and he came up with the big save. And that was right away where you got to be like, all right, we can't just whine and complain about the goaltender. He just bailed us out. Now let's try to bounce back. And that's the kind of crap they pull. And you lose 4-0 to a goalie that's fighting for his NHL career here, hasn't played in a long ass time, and is doing his best here. So I don't know. It's goalie friendly show. Yeah, this is not Forsberg's fault. And I thought he made a couple decent saves here. And a lot of the goals too, Ross, I found were a product of the Ducks driving hard to the net. Like that goal that went off Ennis, there's traffic in front. I think it was the third goal as well. The Terry goal. He just goes right to the net. The Sens give him that lane.
Terry goal.
So he just drives right to the net. And that's what it seems like we don't see the Sens doing, is just having the sense to be like, I don't need to try anything fancy. I don't need to hold on to the puck too long. Let's just go to the net hard and hope that we get results in that way. And I find the Sens, they just haven't done too many plays like that. I thought they got some good shots off, and I like their thought process of, okay, quick, simple shots. But sometimes you got to look for the real estate and you got to earn it. And I thought the Ducks did a good job of that tonight.
And the Ottawa Senators go 0 for 4 on the power play, just like they did in San Jose. We'll get into the game again. Pillsy, I just want to get a quick word in from our friends at BetOnline. BetOnline is the number one sports book of the Locked On Podcast Network, and for good reason as well. Don't bet on the Sens right now. But I did do well at the end of last season, made up for that embarrassing January, and maybe they'll find a way to heat up. But right now, go to betonline.ag, and the key is that you're in the action, whether it's the Sens or not. As a goalie-friendly show, the way I bet is I look at who the starting goalies are, and I just pick them. It's like in baseball.
That's a nice luxury to have, Ross.
What's a starting goalie? That's a question that we can ask later on. But BetOnline, they know what's going on. They got the best odds for whether it's a player prop that you like, or if you want to bet the over, because don't bet the under. Don't be that guy. That's the guy at the party who sits in the corner. You want to bet the over, at least cheer for a ton of goals. BetOnline can do that with the promo code Locked On. Because you're a listener, promo code Locked On gets you a 50% welcome bonus. So go right there, betonline.ag, and get off the sidelines. Get into the action, and that promo code Locked On gets you a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. It's BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, Pillsy, back into the fire we go. The Ottawa Senators, we mentioned, outshot Anaheim 14-2 for a stretch from the end of the first period through the middle of the second, and they were down 2-0 over that span. The first goal we discussed, it's Isaac Lundestrom. It's a goal that, well, I don't know if do you expect Forsberg to have that one?
Nope. No, not at all. Because like I said, that's where, just being straight up, that's where it was a breakdown by the team,
right,
like you said.
Right. And he just goes out front.
And the puck goes out front. So, no, and especially that's the first kind of like real good attack they had. Well, other than that 2-on-1 where he made the good save. But yeah, I don't blame Forsberg there. That's on the team. Yeah. It's
if you get an ISO cam, though, from the second that the puck frees up when Raquel's about to pass it, Shabbat his feet are just in the wrong spot. And it caught up to him because he was expecting them to win the board battle. I think that Shabbat's seen enough out of this team to know that maybe err on the side of they're not going to complete whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah, and Formanton has learned that lesson too, right? There was one goal we were talking about where I think it was the one where Logan Shaw couldn't get the clear, and he couldn't get the clear because he didn't have the support of Formanton because Formanton assumed that puck's getting out of the zone and he was already off to the races. So.
Like, look, I want to pull it up right now. Like, this is the moment that the puck is turned over.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Josh Norris
hesitating there. His body.
Yeah, that looks like he's about to fall. Like, it looks like he's toe picking a little bit.
But what he's actually trying to do is go down below the goal line to be the outlet pass for Norris. It's easy, a bang play. Instead, left-hand shot continues left. It's on his stick. It's off his stick. And away they go, scoring first. The Ottawa Senators just haven't been able to score first or in the third period. And by the way, I got to apologize. Hand up. I said the Sens have scored 5 third-period goals this year. It's 9 third-period goals. And it was after last game, and it was after this game as well. Because they didn't score a damn goal all game. Okay, should we move on to the second goal? I guess we kind of already covered the second goal in a sense as well.
Let me go before that.
That was a Sens abroad moment, though. Silverberg and Derek Grant on a 2-on-1. Come on.
Yeah, just classic.
How about the Sens 08 draft, though? With Erik Karlsson, Mark Borowiecki, and Derek Grant all still playing. That's actually impressive. 13 years later, Bill.
It's crazy. 13 years later. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But before we head on to more Anaheim Ducks goals being scored on the Ottawa Senators.
Can we hold that tease? Do you think there's another Sens draftee from 2008 who's still playing?
Stefan Nason.
No, 2008.
Oh, okay. When was he drafted?
He was drafted in 2011 when they had 3 first-round picks and punted.
I thought Grant was one of those 3. Okay, I'm mixed up.
No. Grant was a late pick in 08. He was a fourth rounder. 119th overall, which makes this stat even more impressive because Derek Grant's at 327 NHL games. Mark Borowiecki went 20 picks later, and he's at 410.
Yeah.
This was a big draft. Zach Smith played 662 games. He was a third-round pick that year. And Patty Weirkoch had 268 games. He was their second-round pick. Andre Pedersen, Carl's best buddy, had one NHL game, and that was it. But still an impressive draft class. And then the next year, Pilsy, they take Cowan in round 1, but then Silfverberg to bring it back to the Ducks in round 2. Bang! Now get into that goal.
There we go. But before we get into another goal being scored on the Sens, there was a lot of positives before that happened. Like, I thought Connor Brown was buzzing this game, and he was doing things a little differently. Like, he had that one chance right beside the net where he just decided to go for a quick backhand to try to catch Stolarz peeking over a little bit too much and try to go short side. He had a couple good shots on net. He had chances. So I liked his game personally. And then Tierney, like, man, on that power play early in the second, he gets the low rebound off the pads and then it hits the post. Like, damn, another close one. So, like, they were buzzing and there was chances. And then before that second goal happens too, Ross, I love Brady sticking up for Timmy there and getting in that scrap. However, not an ideal time to lose Brady Tkachuk on the power play when you're down 1-0 for 5 minutes, right? I mean, but sure, you get Manson. Timmy, you get Manson out of the picture too, so it's not like you're trading a star for scrub here, but I don't always love that. It sucks that Brady has to be that guy, right? And Watson, like, man, I'm sick of these Watson fights. Like, we want him to be physical and we want him to play that role, but he never adds. It's always at a pointless time. It's always a show fight early in the game. There's no energy. There's no momentum.
Substance in it.
There's no substance, and he loses them. Like, he always ends up on the ground. So, Watson, maybe just hold on to, if you're going to have a scrap, make it an emotional tilt. Like, the show fights, I don't think are working, and it doesn't seem to spark the team. But Brady, that was a emotional fight. Like you said, you got to stand up for Timmy in that instant. And even DJ Smith is cracking a smile on the bench. So that's when you know it's like you nailed it with fight timing.
Yeah, second fight on his first shift for Austin Watson, but with Brady, at least he wins his fights. Hockeyfights.com. Yeah. Great website. Love plugging them. Has Brady at 13-2 if you go by the popular vote for his.
And I know the one loss, it was his first one up against the guy in Detroit, right? There was no
Jonathan
chance.
Erickson, big defenseman.
Yeah, so that's fair. And then the other one was probably a debatable.
It was
loss.
Zach McEwen, and then he beat McEwen the next fight when they played in Vancouver last year. But McEwen's a tough customer, PEI boy. He's a big fella. I think he's playing somewhere else now. But anyways, not here nor there. So the third goal, I want to touch on the third goal. Then we'll hit a break. Then we'll finish up. We'll say goodbye to this game. Thank God, and get in.
And say hello to the next one. Great.
Don't have to wait long. Not even 24 hours. Sens, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Tomorrow they'll be back in action against the Los Angeles Kings, a team that's lost every game they've played since they played the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, how happy are they? The Sens are rolling into town, eh? We don't got to fly to Ottawa in November. We get to stay in Cali, and we can eat up a quick dub here.
Yeah, let's see what the Kings have been up to quickly.
They lost to Arizona. Like, that's how down and out the Kings have been. So they're stoked the Sens.
Well, they were buzzing when they played Ottawa last. Ottawa was their 7th straight win. And since then, they're 0-3-2. And they've scored 9 goals in 5 games. Before we get into that preview, Pilsy, what do you think LA, the chances are they score less than 3 goals tomorrow?
Well, Gus is in net, so that's a positive at least.
As much as better as Gus has been, because I don't want to say as good as he's been, as better as he's been. When's the last time Gus let in less than 3 goals in a game?
Stars, right?
What's their last win?
Or no, did he play up against it? Was he playing up against the Kings? Because that was a 2-0
No,
loss.
that was Matt Murray, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. I can't
all these
remember
losses
these
just honestly
geez.
fall right into place. No, it was Gus. 34 saves on 36 shots. Okay, credit where it's due. But in his last 5 games, 6-3-4-5 for goals again. So I'm not completely off the beaten path there. But we'll get to that LA game. I want to get into this goal by Troy Terry. 16-game point streak. Impressive. Yes. Then he goes 2 games without one. But this one, I know that they're shorthanded. But Parker Kelly, do something, buddy. Like, he just lets him go right around. And that might have been, it was like he was wearing a no contact jersey
Yep.
in practice, being like, all right, let me just take this all the way to the front of the crease.
That's what I was saying. Like, that real estate was available, and instead of Terry, like,
Pretty rare Newport Beach real estate available that cheap.
yeah, exactly. That's wild. The real estate's available there, and the Sens are just collapsing in front of the net and waiting for him to force a pass into the slot, because in their mind, that's what they would do in that situation, is just try to force something. Terry just says, okay, you're not giving me any options in front of the net. I'll just take it right to the house myself and see what happens. And he ends up potting a goal, and it was a nice play. Now, there would I've liked to see a little bit more awareness from Forsberg, being like, it's there's no chance of a pass going across. Maybe I need to focus a little more and get a stronger play on Terry. Yeah, maybe. But again, I'm more upset that that play even was allowed to expire, not that Forsberg didn't react properly to it.
Yes. Again, I'm not blaming Forsberg either, but like, come on.
Yeah.
You just can't have it. We simply can't have it. And it keeps coming. Like that fourth goal too, like Rickard Rakell, yeah, that's a nice goal. But what really bothered me is after that goal, the fans are chanting like there's some sort of promotion, like they're getting churros or something. Yeah. And I got flashbacks to the pizza line. I was in bliss. I remembered going to the Elgin Street Pizza when I was in high school the next day.
That's a good feeling, eh?
Yep. Actually, Danny Heatley's paying for my pizza today. Yep. Alfie's paying for my pizza today. But now I get a lump of coal, and that's it. That's all I've been starving myself on this hunger strike since the Sens have last won a game the night before we get to record. Tomorrow's another opportunity, and maybe we'll hop on a live stream after the game if they win tomorrow.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah. If they win tomorrow, I think that could be a lot of fun. And I think that the fans are just craving a win because apathy has not set in. Fans are still buzzing. They're still watching this team from front to back. So the fact, I think it was Wally Mathot, they put up a poll saying, did you stay up for the whole game in San Jose? They lost 6-3. Again, 2 empty netters. They were closer than the score dictated. But 60% said they stayed up to the end of the game. And that's for a last place team. Yep. The fan base is here. They want to cheer on a winner. And right now, it's a complete gong show. And the leadership isn't talking, so nobody knows what's going on. Pilsy, I just want to talk quickly. I want to talk quickly about StatHero right now. And then we'll get into tomorrow's game. We'll get into Ben Roger and Levi Merrilainen. Bruce at BC in Kingston just sent us a photo of Levi Merrilainen and Ben Roger together. Stay tuned for that. The K-Town Sens. You can add that to the Nodak Sens. The K-Town Sens. Shout out Bruce, BC in Kingston, for hitting us with a photo of that. We will show you that photo coming up after a word from StatHero. Do you know that 85% of people who play daily fantasy sports lose? Sounds like the Senators. Is that
sounds like Pilsy's parlay?
This game is rigged against you, just like a parlay. You're playing against thousands of other lineups, not to mention experts who have more tools and more time. Technically, you don't stand a chance. Introducing StatHero. It's the first ever daily fantasy sportsbook that puts the player in control and winning within reach. Here's how it works. StatHero shows you their lineup and dares you to beat them. It's you versus the house in a head-to-head matchup. Your name, your stakes. Winner, take all. You have the advantage. StatHero is showing you their lineup ahead of time. Imagine in blackjack if they showed you both of their cards and we're like, okay, what do you want to do now? That's basically what they're doing here. You're in total control. StatHero is DFS, daily fantasy sports, the way it was meant to be. Mano y mano, 1 versus 1. Play StatHero and change the odds. Go to stathero.com/lockedon and sign up for free right now, and you can get 3 times your money back on your first play. They're giving you they are giving you a 300% match. That's even so impressive. I mumbled up my words. 300% match, and that's unheard of. So I had to say it twice. Go to stathero.com/lockedon. That's stathero.com/lockedon. Locked On. All right, Pillsy, before we get into the LA game, Ben Roger traded from the London Knights to the Kingston Frontenacs. What was your initial reaction when you saw that?
Well, for me, that was great because you get to see two Sens prospects playing on the same team. You got to love that. It builds chemistry. It makes it easier to watch. It makes it fun to cheer for that team in Kingston. Kingston also, shout out, great city in the summer. Nice spot to be. Big, tragically hip town. You got to love that. And yeah, like just getting to see some movement in the OHL is always exciting too. Like they're kind of like blockbuster trades. Like there was a lot of draft capital going to the London Knights there too. And Kingston, they're going to be playing up near Owen Sound and near Barrie where I'm living. So I'm definitely going to get tickets for when they're in town so I can see Levi Marilainen and Ben Roger play.
Yes. Should I throw up this
photo? Let's see it.
It's awesome. It's from our friend CB in Kingston. Look at that.
Boys.
Ben Roger behind the net, Levi Marilainen in goal, all in real time. I love that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Anytime you get prospects playing on the same team, I mean, the Senators can tell you. I think that's a good thing for developing chemistry. And Ross, talking about real time, the Belleville Senators taking after their NHL club. They're losing 1-0 to Laval here in the first period.
The Belleville Senators are?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right now, like, what's
not to get away from the Ben Rogers talk. I just wanted to do a
no,
quick
but with
here.
Ben Roger, does it worry you a little bit? Now, it does for me, I will say. Does it worry you at all that London was so quick to give up on him?
Yep, it does worry me. And I think, I don't know the standings, but last I checked, like CHL just did a power ranking and the London Knights were like one of the top OHL teams. So it's very confusing for me to see a team that is doing so well trade away a second round NHL draft pick so early in the season. So, and to get all those future assets. So it was very surprising to me. I'm struggling to pull up the standings as we talk here, Ross, but
no, it's a situation where like, it's not like they're a rebuilding team that got rid of a player. That scares me.
Oh, wait, here we go.
The London Knights are first in their division. They're 14-3-1.
Yeah, they're perfect. Thank you for beating me to the punch there. Yeah, like that's the thing. And to trade them to Kingston is an interesting move, especially when you know that Kingston is a team that has Shane Wright. They have a good starting goaltender.
We don't talk about Shane Wright until 2022.
No, I'm not talking about him in that sense. I just mean he's playing on that team. So you know Correct. Kingston has cup aspirations here. So
yeah.
It's funny for them to sort of help them out in this scenario. So yeah, that's going to be something we're going to keep an eye on, and we're going to have boots on the ground with that LOSP listener there. I forgot his name. Sorry, you can shout out again.
CB in Kingston. Now, something interesting where it kind of becomes full circle in a way, and he's only played one game with the London Knights. He's playing OHL right now, but a right shot defenseman coming up who will play for London is Radek Bonk's kid. So do you think that maybe they're trying to make room for him in their OHL lineup? But
maybe.
No, one way or another, I think it's great for Kingston. They are a team who is looking to make their next step towards competing. And Alfie's mad about that game. If you can hear my dog bark in the background, I don't blame him. He probably wants to get his 2 cents in here as well. But good for him. He's closer to home, too. He's from Brighton, so Kingston's right around the corner from there, and Ottawa can keep better tabs on them. Of course, the Kingston Frontenac's general manager was the Belleville Sens goalie coach in their inaugural season, Corey Cooper. So are they trying to collect them all? What's the deal going on here? But I don't love the fact that London in first place was so easy to trade away.
It's concerning. Yeah.
Their assistant captain, Ben Roger, 3 assists this year for Ben Roger. No goals. Not that that's his game per se, but a guy who's coming out from being a second round pick, 49th overall, 18 games, 3 assists plus 3. You just maybe want a little bit more. And again, I'm not going to go out there and critique the 2021 draft class just yet. We're doing enough critiquing on this show. And I think it's time to get into the Los Angeles game. First of all, though, Victor Lodin, I couldn't get the video. I tried my best. YouTube Tempe for all that stuff.
Yeah.
That being said, what a move.
Incredible. Yeah, definitely. We tweeted out at Sen Central on Twitter. You got to check this move out. Lodin. Like, this is like Harlem Globetrotter stuff here. Like the spins, like deking guys inside and out all in the same play. It's too bad he doesn't score on the play, but it's still a nice setup.
Yes, it's an extremely nice setup. And
Doesn't
one
get
that,
much better.
no, because he did it in a variety of ways. Like, first it's a spin move. Then he takes it in and does first he taps it over Buddy's head. Then he takes it in further, still can't finish. And that's one where you just hope the goalie. I haven't seen a highlight reel from Sweden that good since Magic number 7, the David Rundblad highlight reel. If you haven't seen that, his 2011 highlight reel, I used to show people saying he was the next Erik Karlsson. Turned out he was not. No. But that being said, Victor Lodin, you got to go see this to believe it. We tweeted out at Send Central on Twitter. You can follow the show there. You can also follow it LockedOn.Senators on Instagram. You can subscribe wherever you download your podcast. And the reason why you should subscribe to YouTube is days like today where we just decide we're going to go on and shoot the breeze with y'all for a good 45 minutes pregame. And the reception was great. We had a lot of viewers concurrently. So we're going to make this a habit. So stay tuned for that. And just another reason to subscribe. All right, Sens are in Los Angeles. Let's wrap it up here, Pilsy, with a preview of tomorrow's game. Gustafsson in goal. Do you think that DJ Smith will make any other lineup changes? Really, the only option is Logan Shaw and Michael Del Zotto. They're not going to fly someone in for the last game of the road trip.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see too many changes here. And Belleville did tie it up at 1, so it's 1-1 at the end of the first.
Breaking news!
Just to update you there. So that's a little bit of positivity here. But yeah, up against LA Kings, I don't see too many changes happening. Gus starting. Maybe he decides to switch Mete and Del Zotto if he thinks that's going to cause a spark or if he didn't like the look of that. But Ross, it looks like it's almost time to wrap this episode up, eh? But they got their work cut out for them, though. Like, sure, LA has lost a bunch of games and they're slumping. But like I said, LA's got to be absolutely thrilled that Ottawa's coming into town when it's raining and pouring on them. And they can just find some California sunshine here and get a win and move on with things. Because this Sens team, like last season, I think, I mean, mind you, it's only the Canadian division. But the teams coming in were like, sure, this is a rebuilding team, but they're going to give us a tough time. Like, we're going to have to earn this win. I don't think teams are thinking that this year, especially with the amount of backup goalies we've seen put into play that aren't in back-to-back game situations or something like that, right? So teams are obviously being like, let's give the starter a night off and give our backup goalie, who is making less than $1 million and is just a journeyman backup, let's give him this game, and we can still expect to get a win here. So if you're in the Sens locker room, like, you got to feel that. Like, that's got to sting. And that sense of pride, knowing that you're playing hard and you're doing, you're approaching the game right. Sure, the process, you're starting to see bits and pieces look good. But when there's no results, it's tough to keep buying into that process.
They're going to have to, though. There's no other option. I'm going to call it Timmy goal tomorrow because I thought out of all the players today, we're not doing Sens Central standouts because nobody really deserved it. No, honestly. Like, I put in, just for the tweet, I put Stützle and Lassie Thompson. And
I did like Connor Brown's game, though. I thought he was
5 shots on goal for Connor Brown, but
yeah.
I like Timmy in the middle, man. And Cheryl Pounder, I keep going back to, but again on the broadcast, she made it clear, like, he is an East-West player. And you can argue whether those are the kinds of players that win you games over and over again, but it gives him so many more options to problem solve because that's what he does. He problem solves on the ice. He goes, I can go around this guy there, then this guy there, then pass it here and move here and then do this. Again,
it's too much sometimes. It's too much.
Right, but doesn't he have more leeway in the middle of the ice? Because he doesn't get caught up against the boards and then all of a sudden a Gabriel Landeskog or a winger who's just going to overpower him wins a board battle and then they go the other way. It gives him more chance to succeed when he's in the middle of the ice.
And it allows him to, I think Tim Stützle is a great skater. Like, not like one of the best, but he's a good skater. So it allows him to utilize that skill. Whereas up against the boards, he's at a disadvantage because he doesn't have that size and strength that a lot of these wingers, like you're talking about, especially in the West Coast, do have. They have size and strength, and they welcome those board battles. Whereas Timmy, that's not his game. So I feel like, moving him to the center, it sets him up for a little bit more success. I think maybe There's not many options, obviously, so that's why they're having him here. But maybe it might be a good idea to get him in like a third line center role, though. You know what I mean? So he's not going up against other teams' top sixes all the time and top D pairs. Maybe just a little bit like less tough assignments in that sense. But then also you can't bring Nick Paul and Connor Brown down with him as well either. So the Sens are in a tough spot here, but I do like the move of Timmy to center, and I think so far it's looked good for him.
Give me a locked on player before we get out of here.
I'm going to say locked on to Alex Formenton. He, again, must have had 2 or 3 chances where he broke away, but one time he decided to slam on the brakes to wait for play to catch up and then ends up turning it over, and it's a nothing play. Another time he gets smothered by defense in a perfectly timed poke check, no penalty. That was a clean play. I agree with the no call there. And then I think a third time he gets a shot off. So he's creating these chances, and he's making it shown that even in a shorthanded situation, he's an offensive threat and teams need to smarten up with their passing. And I think that helps out just in the sense of having him as a threat on the ice. And I like what I've seen from him ever since kind of the Colorado game where I said it looked like he lost a step. So it seems like he's kind of picked that back up with getting back on the ice and practicing.
I'm glad that we left off on a positive because Formenton has been solid in offensive situations. Let's see if he can bury one tomorrow. I'm going to save my locked on and lookout player for a tweet tomorrow at Send Central.
Ooh,
so follow
tease.
us there at Send Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. And if they win, you might see us on a live post-game show. But for today, we say goodbye. Thank you so much for listening and staying engaged. As bad as it gets on the ice, we might just get that much more entertaining.
We're all in this together, right?
For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.